Cops out there, there's this thing called First Amendment auditing. Stop falling for it. They videotape you from public. It's not suspicious. It's not illegal.
We want the same thing. I see a lot of issues and I talk about it. I can't be that we're the blue and we're the heroes. I can't do that simply because there's a lot of laundry that we need to clean.
Who would have thought that a First Amendment auditor and a police officer would be having a civil discussion, for the world to see? What's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Today's video is very special, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I am extremely appreciative and very excited to be speaking with my guest, Matt Thornton. Matt, you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Matt Thornton. I learned from you, watched some of your videos, and we kind of met by chance. And I like to be outspoken and kind of try to think out of the box. And yeah. I'm a police officer, been a police officer for 18 years here. I'm a CEO of a nonprofit that's really successful here. I reach out to underprivileged youth. I teach them about life, about God, about different things, and helping them get better.
Great. So I guess the first thing, the reason why we came into any sort of communication is because I was scrolling through TikTok, and your video your viral video, I think last time I checked, it had like over 2 million views on it. It was regarding First Amendment auditing. And, I'm going to put in a clip right here.
Okay, cops out there, there's this thing called First Amendment auditing. Stop falling for it. They videotape you from public. It's not suspicious. It's not illegal. We should act like we're on camera anyway. They do not have to identify themselves. They are not breaking the law. Stop embarrassing us and escalating these situations. Please, chuck up the deuce or say tag me and move it along. I love you, brothers and sisters in blue, but you're making us look bad.
This is the reason why I love the First Amendment auditors. They're so effective at identifying and outing an egotistical and bully cop. The law really does need to keep us in check as well as the citizens. The good-hearted, humble, solid cops will understand this, and they'll ride with me. All the power-hungry goofs will hate me, and you'll see by these comments they're about to put down here. So take care. Love you guys.
So basically, what made you make that video, and were you surprised of how many views it got and the amount of engagement you got on it?
Oh, that's a crazy story, man. I get a friend. I work with this guy from Texas. He helps out he runs a church, helps run a church in Texas, and he like kind of keeps up with my social media stuff. And he's like, man, Matt, he texts me, you got a video that's viral, and he sends it to me. I had no clue. I'm just sitting at home one night, and I'm like, look on it, and this thing's got like 1 million some views. I'm like, what? And yeah, it just kind of happened. It all came about. I've been watching First Amendment auditor videos for quite a while.
Yeah, I
was pretty intrigued by them because I never understood why there was so much drama and so much unprofessionalism coming from our side, and why did it keep happening. And it just kind of was. I had this fascination with why the mentality of the officer is to, number one, just be so condescending, and number two, like misquote the actual law. So it really fascinated me. So that's why I kind of spouted about the First Amendment auditors, because when it's done properly, it's the perfect tool to keep an officer in check, kind of like hold them accountable, because we are accountable to the people. We work for you guys. Like the citizens pay us, and that's one thing that it's like so bad in our profession to say, but I am an employee of citizens, period. So I hold officers accountable, and I will often speak about it. So I just felt I did that video it was kind of just a spur of the moment thing. I get breaks at work, and I kind of have fun with TikTok, and I'll just look in the camera and say it takes me 90 seconds, and I'll chop it up later and put it on. So it's something I talked about. I never thought anyone would even see.
Yeah, I loved how you said, it's not suspicious. It's not a crime. You cannot get their ID. I love the video, man. I absolutely loved it because you were speaking truth. And like I want to touch on it from my side is that you're right. It needs to be done effectively. I never claim to be perfect. I don't believe anybody is, except for you know who, but
Of course.
it needs to be handled in a way that, because I think it defeats the purpose. Because if you're over there, let's be real. Police officers have the benefit of the doubt in every situation, right? They have the benefit of the doubt. They have the law. They have the criminal justice system, not necessarily the law, but they have the criminal justice system on their side. So any way that I'm making myself look, if I'm making myself look in a unsavory way, and I'm coming off as antagonistic, or that I'm trying to get a reaction out of them, that's going to be held against me. And because I'll tell you the truth, Matt, I try and be as polite as possible. I don't curse. I don't, raise my voice. I'm very
I was super impressed by yours. When you do it like perfect as anyone as I see it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I try, and I've been, and for filming, I've been arrested 3 or 4 times now. So it's kind of, it's either a disorderly conduct, which I like to call contempt of cop. Us in the community call it contempt of cop, a disorderly conduct. Different things of that, trespassing, things like that. And what I never understood is where is the crime? Who's being hurt? What property is being stolen or damaged, or why? I think our freedom in this country is super important. For my freedom, for anyone's freedom to be taken away because you don't necessarily like what I'm doing, even though it's completely legal, that's a problem. That's a problem.
And it all comes down to it's simple law. I mean, Terry versus Ohio says I have to be able to say that you're doing something wrong in order to stop you like that. And I'm a big freedom guy. Like I think that this is a free country. My granddaddy, my dad, like 4 of my uncles fought for, cousins too that have been overseas. Like we should be able to walk down the street and expect not to be stopped unless it's a lawful reason. And I was just huge into like, man, you're walking on a public sidewalk, you can film whatever you want. I mean, that's been established. A lot of these guys got this Patriot Act all skewed. But I believe a lot of that was, if you can correct me too, because I haven't studied that as much, but I've kind of looked into it. As far as the Supreme Court goes, that cameras aren't suspicious. You can see, your eyes can see it. You can film
it. No, it's not suspicious at all. And I talk to a lot of law enforcement officers like yourself, and behind the scenes, and they have told me that ever since 9/11, police officers have started to change. Law enforcement started to change because now everybody wants to become militarized. They're showing up to work in BDUs, and they think that they're over here in Afghanistan, but they didn't go to Afghanistan. They're here, and we're not enemy combatants. We're people, and we're the people that they're supposed to serve.
I'm not at war. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Militaristic mindset. I put another one up about the militaristic mindset that ruffled a lot of feathers. But
I know I watch all your videos.
I'm not at war with anybody. These are the same people. I was this same person my whole life. I grew up in the neighborhood. I was there. I'm not at war with any of these people.
Yeah, I had seen a TikTok that you had said. I found this interesting, that you grew up hating law enforcement. That's how you grew up with that. You grew up hating law enforcement, and now you have been a law enforcement officer for 18 years. How did you go from hating the law enforcement, and why did you hate law enforcement at the time, and how did you go to being law enforcement?
Oh, I hated them. Bad interactions. I mean, there's cops. I remember when I was 13, 14 years old, you never forget a bad cop interaction. A cop talking so bad to me, so disrespectful to me for no reason at all. I didn't do anything wrong. I was part of an illegal stop that took place in a big city where I was at. Car toss, no PC, and I know all the rules now. I know how illegal it was. I was searched for no reason, just because of who I was with. There's been another incident where I was stopped illegally. That was a total bogus stop. So I know what it feels like to be on the other side of that. So that in the long run, I'm 46 years old, and the Rodney King incident happened when I was a junior in high school, and that kind of molded a lot of my thoughts too, because that was, I don't know how old you are, but that was the George Floyd of my generation. Except they didn't kill him, but they basically got away with beating this guy half to death, and it just seemed like it was. And I was a rebellious kid, and I didn't like authority, so I just hated the police. And it wasn't until I was older. I had a criminal record. I got caught with a pistol when I was 21. Luckily, I got the felony dropped down. So I wasn't a nice kid. So I was really hateful. But it wasn't until I was old. I was 29 when I got hired. It was only because I had worked so hard for a decade of my life. My record was clean. I didn't get any more trouble. And two of my best friends became cops. And I'm like, you know what? That's an upgrade in pay. And I always asked them questions on how to do it. And I still didn't like it when I got hired. I just did it for a job. I barely passed high school. So I for some unknown reason, my city took me.
Yeah.
And
then
when I got in, well, go ahead.
No, and I was just about to say, sorry to interrupt you. I was about to say that, that's the best decision you made for your community, for law enforcement in general, because now that you have such a, your following's growing on TikTok, you have a YouTube account, I think it's great. And I think that you can become a positive force in help bridging the gap between law enforcement and the public, because that's what we need. I have honestly, when I saw your video and I've started watching all your videos, I have never seen a law enforcement officer speak on the things you speak on. And I want to make it clear, you're not just bashing law enforcement off. You are one. That's not what you're doing. You're just speaking the truth. You're seeing injustice. You're seeing injustice. You're seeing this. You call it an egotistical mind frame, right? They're egotistical cops. That's the word they use. And I couldn't agree more. It's not about, some cops, some law enforcement officers let the power get to their head, and it's about serving your community and building relationships. I'm sure that you've never, a lot of things officers like to say is officer safety. I did it for officer safety. I'm sure you being de-escalation, in my opinion, is the #1 tool for officer safety, because, you go in there and you escalate a situation. You don't know who you're dealing with at that point. You don't know what's going to happen. So if you would like to talk about, how do you feel about de-escalation and using it in your career?
I think that whole officer safety thing, we hide behind that a lot, way too much. It's so subjective. Like, I can look at you right now and say, you know what? He's got a hoodie on. His left eyebrow just raised in a matter that he may be thinking of something, and his hand is balled up and he's cocked to the right. I can make up or say or articulate why I'm in danger in so many subjective ways, and I think it gets taken advantage of. And yeah. I cannot say I work in a dangerous city. Like people, I get roasted a lot because my city's small, but they don't understand the makeup of Chicagoland where I'm at. We're a makeup of a bunch of small cities together, and those cities are violent is just about as violent as any big city. Period. We have shootings every day in my city. So, but I can honestly say I'm trying. Like, I can't hide behind, well, I was in fear for my life, just because I can't see somebody's hands, or just because you can. I guess my point is you can articulate that, and it's too subjective, and you can mold it in any way. Instead of just seeing something, summing up if it's a threat, and then from there de-escalating that. It all starts off with how you the first 2 seconds that you introduce yourself to somebody. It starts with de-escalation, and I think a lot of these the mindset was so skewed when I started. I was shocked how they teach you. A lot of things need to start with the training in the academy.
I've seen some videos.
Oh my gosh!
I've seen some videos that you've talked about it, and you had said something to the effect of that they want you to have a mentality of control and authority over people, and you wanted to show compassion, and that your instructor at the time had said, to the effect of, you're going to be a bad cop or not an effective cop because you want to show people compassion. I thought that was, I think that some of the things you say on your videos are, very enlightening to people. An ordinary person like me, I deal with law enforcement probably more than the average person, but it's enlightening even to me, because it's like, that's what they're instilling into law enforcement officers from the get-go, like right from the start.
I have a huge problem with the way, I understand our job is dangerous, and cops do get hurt, but the way that we are trained. When I was in training, was kind of shocking, because it was almost as if they're training you that everybody whose hands you can't see, don't matter what you're doing, they're a deadly threat, and you have to treat it such. It's almost like they make you a bunch of paranoid people. And when you mix that with a lot of cops, when they get hired, they have no street smarts. I mean, a lot of these kids are from suburbia. They've never even talked to a gang member in their life, and you just instill that these people are your enemy and they're dangerous and they're going to kill you. What do you think is going to happen? Instead of just, a lot of that training needs to just be thrown out and started over. I think we need to rebuild that, in my honest
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure, for sure.
De-escalation and understand that nobody is your enemy. I mean, I have the best relationships with some of our most dangerous people because they see me as a human, and I've proven that.
Yeah.
Um, but they don't see the militaristic mindset in being an officer. It doesn't work.
The video that you put up that I think goes well with this is that you put a video of an officer getting in a gentleman's face, and he was like, go ahead and touch me, go ahead and touch me, go ahead and touch me. And you said, we need to stop the intimidation tactics, because you had said that, what you want is for him to touch you so you can arrest him and take his freedom away from him. And, that's unprofessional. It's unprofessional conduct.
And if you really have that short of a fuse and you have that little self-control, you don't need to have a badge. Yep. I've been saying that from the beginning of my career. Like, well, but the scary, and that's a whole nother show that we get into is how they're protected, the union stuff.
Yeah, like, the union is scary, very scary.
I use I talked about another video. Like if I was a dentist and I pulled the wrong teeth like 15 times and I still have a job, like it's ridiculous. A dentist wouldn't be a dentist anymore after the first one. Like that's why I love what you guys do. It exposes who is who, and it's unacceptable.
The camera brings out. It's so funny to me that the camera brings out who you really are. I've noticed from doing this, for the last year, people who have a problem with the camera being on them, it's because there's something wrong with them internally that they feel ashamed that a camera's on them, because I don't care who's recording. The government's recording us, and this is the ultimate, irony of it all. We're being recorded everywhere we go by the government. But the minute we pull out a camera to record the government, it becomes a problem.
These conversations are what are needed. Like this country's become so divisive that we just want to scream at each other. Nobody wants to sit and talk. And I totally get what you do. I totally and I was from the bottom of my heart, love police. We need to do better. Period. Yep. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying I'm perfect or holy in any way, but I understand that I can honestly say I've never violated anybody's rights. I've been a good officer. I've been solid, and I just want to see us do way better. And a lot of the videos that you see is just like, wow, why does this keep happening? I don't get it.
It's a good question to ask for sure, and maybe one day we won't have to ask it anymore because there'll be some accountability. And
that's the goal.
Yeah, that is the goal. And with not just people on my side, but, police officers like yourself who are, who have the courage to speak truth and freedom and to stand up for what they believe in. Maybe it would right now. I feel like, you do something bad and they cover for you, maybe it'll be to the point one day where you do something bad and there's so many good cops around that they're like, put your hands behind your back. Right. Yeah. Because an officer you're not above the law. If you break the law, you should be arrested. All right, guys. So if you want to watch the full 40-minute unedited conversation between myself and Officer Matt Thornton, you can do that right now by heading over to my second channel, People's News Network, news for the people, by the people. The link will be in the description below, as well as the comment section. I am extremely excited to be starting this new channel and embarking on this new journey with you guys. Long Island Audit is not going anywhere, but I have big plans for People's News Network, and they involve all of you. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and you have bell notifications turned on. I'll see you guys over there. Peace. Really appreciate you, man. I'm a big supporter of what you do. I hope your platforms from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I hope you become the biggest voice of change out there. And I hope more law enforcement officers just like yourself start, standing up and speaking the truth. And, just it's helps. What you're doing is you're bridging the gap, and it's great. Who would have thought that a First Amendment auditor and a police officer would be having a civil discussion, for the world to see? And that's change. That's change. I don't think I've ever seen it before. This is a first, I think, between our two communities. And, there's going to be, the sad part is, Matt, is that there's going to be people who, bash me for speaking to a police officer. There's going to be some people who bash you for speaking to a First Amendment auditor. And we're just people. We're people who care about our communities. And that's what the people who have such hate. I always say they have hate in their heart. These people just have hate in their heart, you know, and
Mhm.
the only you got to get rid of that. I tell them, listen, get rid of that hate in your heart because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not, look, I'm speaking to a police officer. We're having a great conversation. I had great conversation with him via text. Like, there's nothing wrong. I support him and I support what he's doing. And, you know, we have to come together. We need to put down our pride and our egos and come together so that way we can actually affect some real change. And for that, Matt,
Exactly.
exactly, right?
The
It's
division
so
in this
simple.
country is you can't you have to have what you would call uncomfortable conversation. This is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but
For
it's
sure.
okay because it's our love, man. We care about each other and we care about our what we stand for, and we can do it civilly. Not everybody has to
Exactly.
agree with us, but we do it civilly and we talk.
Exactly. And for those out there that are watching and you know you might not agree with, I don't see, again, a reasonable person, I don't see how they don't agree with your logic and what you're saying. And you know, and I know it's not just, you know, you're a police officer and you stand up for police officers too.
Mhm.
It's, I know it's not like you're just speaking against police officers. I've seen your
No, not
video.
at all.
It goes
Not at
it
all.
goes back it goes back and forth. And I see it. You just speak what you speak your mind and you speak your truth. And
Hmm.
that's commendable. And again, I from, you know, I've called out people who, you know, do First Amendment audits and, you know, they're following people around, they're, you know, trying to gauge for a reaction and, you know, using foul language and things like that. Yeah, you have freedom of speech, but, you know, as a responsible adult, you should responsibly use that freedom of speech because
Hmm.
it's not, I wouldn't want somebody's that officer you're speaking to, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter, it's somebody's cousin. Like I wouldn't want anyone in my family member who's in law enforcement being treated that way just for no reason. So, you know, I like to look at it from both sides, and I receive a lot of backlash for that too. But I've grown a lot speaking the truth and really, you know, sticking to what you believe in. I you're gonna grow, man. You're gonna grow because people really respect that. I see it in your comment section, and I really appreciate you coming on to talk to me. I won't take up any more of your time. I know we've been here for a little bit, but it was
Oh,
great
that's
talking
okay.
to you. It was great
Hey,
talking to you. I
God
hope we
bless,
can have
man.
another chat soon.
Oh yeah.
I hope we can get to have another chat soon.
Oh, of course, man. Just hit me up. You got my contact now, man. Anytime.
All right, thanks, Matt. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
God bless. Thank you, brother.
God bless you as well. If you enjoyed the conversation I just had with Officer Matt Thornton, be sure to hit the like button so that way as many people as possible can see this video. We are trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the public, and I believe that this video helps contribute to that goal. Also, go show Officer Thornton some love on his social media, Instagram, TikTok. All of it will be in the description below. Let him know LIA sent you. The things that he's talking about, it takes courage. So let's show him some love. Let's support him. If you want him to come and do a live, make sure you leave that in the comment section below. We'll do a little Q&A. Hopefully he'll be willing to do that. I'm sure he won't have a problem. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.